Hello. So, before I start, I want to do a simple task. I want you all to raise your hand if you're willing to come up on stage and help me with something. But you won't know what that something will be about. Okay, I see some hands. Okay, great. So, some of you may be brave, I admit that, but the point here is that most of us are afraid of taking the first step, performing in front of others. And this is probably the best example I could have given you. And so, I've decided that my speech will be exactly about this topic today. And to start off, I want to talk about something that is not talked about enough. And believe it or not, that something is in basketball. And as a basketball player, I've experienced that feeling more times than I would like to admit. And no, it isn't what you may think. It is not practicing your own shots, making your coach proud, or even the pressure under at an important game. Instead, it is a moment when you're standing at the top of the line, the coach sends in a drill, looks directly at you, and says, "You go first." And yeah, that might sound like a simple task, but to be honest, it never felt simple to me. Because for me, it wasn't just about doing the drill. It was about stepping forward while everyone was watching. Watching, judging, waiting for you to either prove yourself or mess up. And for a long time, I thought the feeling disappeared. That hesitation, that anxiety had inside of me, but even though the court changed, I cannot. And suddenly, there it was, real life. And somehow I was still standing there, knowing exactly what to do, yet still afraid to take the first step, to perform in front of others. It didn't matter what environment I was in, it was always the same situation. Me caring about other people would think. And soon after I matured, I went to middle school. And even though I hoped the feeling disappeared, there were always these tiny moments that made me remember it. It affected my academic performance and my personal life too. It changed the way I socialized with people, the way I participated, and even the way I perceived the world around me. And I realized that opportunities didn't disappear. I just stopped stepping into them. And I remember when I was a kid, so eager to answer those who knows who was kind of questions. And you know why? Because even if I wasn't sure on my answer, I would have still tried. I would have experimented, made mistakes, and learned the correction. That was what made the answer meaningful. Not the answer itself, but the process of getting there. An approach full of wrong answers. Yeah, the one that helped me grow and understand more deeply. There was no fear of being wrong, only curiosity in becoming better. But as you could have guessed, with the fear of taking the first step, I wasn't able to be as productive as I once were. And of course, you may think that, Saba, there are countless ways of accomplishing something. And you may be right. And maybe those ways are safer, better, and even more accepted. But you see, there was a problem. They weren't mine. That wasn't how I wanted to do things. It was how others expected me to do it. So I realized that these fears holding me back. Not only me, but my motivation as well. And I noticed that it was slowly changing who I was becoming. So I decided to change something. Not just in my actions, but in my mindset as well. And that change, realizing something powerful. Something bigger than any fear I had been holding on to. Well, I realized a simple thing. I realized that people don't care. And yeah, that might sound like a crazy idea, but hear me out first. I'm not talking about the moments we share with our family, loved ones, or relatives. Those are the moments when we truly feel heard. They understand us, they relate to us, and they probably care. Instead, I'm talking about the exact moments when we're standing there and thinking to ourselves, what will others think of me? Because, of course, we might get made fun of, taunted, or even embarrassed by someone's words. But what I came to realize is that failures we see as permanent are just tiny details of people's lives. They don't carry the same way for them as they do for us. And moments we think will stay in their minds forever are probably forgotten a day or two. So if there's one thing I learned from all of this, is that the moment you stop waiting for someone's approval is the moment you start becoming who you're meant to be. Because the world doesn't change for people who plays it safe. It changes for people who are willing to step forward. Even when their voices shake, even when they're unsure of their outcome, every idea, every word, every step has its own value, even if it's not perfect, and especially when it's not perfect. So don't be afraid to be judged, because only unique ones are perceived differently. The ones who dare stand out are the ones create change in this world. And maybe, just maybe, next time you're standing there, waiting, overthinking, hear that voice in your head, you won't wait for someone to call you. You will take that step on your own. Thank you.